All right, welcome to another edition of the 411 interview with Obligatory Music Group. If you're watching this, we are here with Mixed Matches today. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Besides given the circumstances for today, but other than that, pretty good. I'm healthy. I'm excited to be talking. So cool. Yeah,
Good,
can't
man.
complain.
Yeah, today's kind of a sad day given the news of, this will be released a little bit later, but given the news of today when we're recording this, that Six Dogs has passed away. And this is also the 1 year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's death, too. So I don't know.
I didn't.
A lot of people are remembering
Yeah,
today. It's kind of a sad one in that regard. But my first question for you: do you like doing interviews? Have you done many interviews?
I've done I did maybe two interviews before.
All right. Well, welcome again, and we're bringing you on because you've actually been really like a name in the Instagram music reviewing community that sort of spawned Obligatory for a couple years, and that
Yeah,
really came about at the time of Late.
yeah, the compilation album. Yeah,
And those are
thank you guys for you gave it a pretty nice review, like something like an 80 or something.
oh, so you've already seen our reviews
Yeah,
of you here. Yeah, okay. Well, again, anybody watching this, if you don't know what Obligatory is, you can find us on Instagram at Obligatory, and we basically organize community reviews. So if you like writing or making scores for albums, that's what we do. So you can follow us again at Obligatory. And we've definitely covered some mixed matches material in the past, but Late and Two, they're about to turn two, or at least
yeah.
Late is turning two this
Late,
year, right?
late, late already. I think turned two.
And those
Because
are already
the
those are
songs the songs are older than that because the songs were literally just like a report from songs that dropped in 2018, and I put them over to from SoundCloud to because I was like where I started. That was my main
mm,
bread and butter. From SoundCloud to Spotify, and then it really did well on Spotify, and I'm very grateful for it. I don't
mm,
really like those songs anymore because they don't really show me. They don't
yeah,
really they're kind of very primitive to what I'm doing right now, in my
yeah.
opinion. The mixing is very, you can't really understand any of the words, but it was the basis, and it was the blueprint for what I would do later.
Yeah, and
Like,
that sounds especially appropriate for the SoundCloud like time period too that you had your music up there mostly.
yeah,
um, More rough around the edges and a
yeah.
little less like clean. And I've definitely noticed that you've developed your style. But wait, so how old are you now? And then how old were you when you were making those songs then?
I was maybe 21 when I was making those songs, and I am 24 now.
Okay.
And yeah, 21 seems fair.
Yeah, I mean, really, that is a good while, or even a long time in music years now. I think in what kind of,
Maybe 22. Yeah, I was old,
but
and I kind of
the way music is going right now, things change so quickly that 2 years, 3 years, it really is kind of a significant gap. And so there's a lot to learn and develop and grow in that time, especially with someone like you releasing, at least a handful of projects since that time.
yeah. I think I've released well, I don't really count two or anything in like the late series because those are again they're compilations. They're really like there's they're lazy. They're
Mm.
just tracks that have already existed, and then I'm like, okay,
Were they singular tracks on SoundCloud, or were they?
they were
Okay.
singular tracks.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
it was just like literally like to me it was just like, oh, okay, this is a cash grab and that's what it is to me. Like,
Yeah.
and I will always like tell people like, hey, this is not an album. This is just the way you guys can listen to this music on this platform, and that's it. You know,
Hmm.
all of it is great. People support me, people love it. That's just awesome.
Are you
Uh,
really adamant about it and basically not being considered a project because it didn't come out
100%,
of a project mindset like your project
100,
might?
120%. I mean, like the difference is that Late Two had like they had like B sides from whatever the hell it was doing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I had tracks that were unreleased, and I put them on there because it was more of an incentive. Like, hey, check these tracks out on here, rather than go to SoundCloud because I want to grow my audience on Spotify rather than SoundCloud because SoundCloud, frankly, I don't even give a shit about it anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
great. It got me a beautiful start. I don't make that much money off of it. I make a
Uh-huh.
good bit of money off of Spotify, and apparently, which is kind of a bummer, but it is about money at the end of the day. Like I'm living on my own, not working a job because of music. So I need to focus and actually make the good decisions for what my career, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is now, and like do the things that will actually benefit me in the long run. And I can't like, well, I love SoundCloud. I found so much good music through SoundCloud, including Six Dogs, rest in peace. Um, there's a time where you just kind of have to grow up from that. And like I'm also older than the kids that are on SoundCloud right now. Like I'm
Yeah.
24. Like in
Kind of
that
a young man's game over there.
in the age of SoundCloud people, that's fucking grandpa
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, exactly. I'm the same age. I feel fucking grandpa in terms of like that. Yeah, that's a young man's game for sure.
I see you got the Doom shirt on as well. Like
Yeah. Rest in peace,
a
Doom.
lot of rest in peace Doom. A lot. Actually, wait, hold on one second.
Do you know
This is
Freako?
some basic shit, but I think most people have this probably.
Yes, the
Mad Villain.
Mad Villain.
Yeah, Mad
Yes,
Villain. Great fucking record. My favorite was a Raid off of that one.
Raid's great. Rhinestone Cowboys, that epic ender.
Yeah, Meat
Uh,
Grinder. Cool.
how many records do you have in your collection?
Actually, these records are all old. I don't really collect records anymore. The last record that I bought, which I'm super, this is more for decoration now because I don't have a record player, and also because like, I have fucking Spotify. So what's the point? I mean, this is the last record that I bought, and it's truly a super
Oh,
influential
sick.
record on a lot of people, including myself. It's Sonic Youth's Daydream Nation.
Wow.
It's really cool. Has a gated picture of the band. But I would have like maybe something like I don't know, 30 something records in there.
Okay,
All
so a
out there.
budding collection. But yeah, you said you don't have the record player, so it's like, I mean, I got one. I bought one even this year. Like I bought a new one this year. I
Yeah.
love it to death. But yeah, with Spotify, it's honestly a little difficult for me to pull the thing out, play the record, flip it halfway through, and all
Yeah.
that shit.
It's a matter of convenience, but for me, it's just like I don't know. I appreciate the sounds of records, and to me, it's just more difficult though because you have to. I don't. Maybe one day I'll actually get like an entire turntable system, but for right now, it's just like what's the fucking point? But these are older records, so they used to have like a little Crosley record player, and I had like maybe 30 records for there, and like in that record collection was like The Cure's Disintegration, Dinosaur Jr.'s You're Living All Over Me, fucking trying to think. Freddie Gibbs, Madlib Pinata,
Great,
uh,
great album.
the Beatles, or it's not the Beatles. Actually, no, I gave my dad the Beatles White Album, but the Beatles are overrated, in my opinion. They're great, but overrated.
Yes.
Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, and Gorillaz, Plastic Beach. Those are like some of the records that I have.
Was music something that you grew to love on your own growing up, or did you have parents that loved music or even played music, or where did that come in for you?
So my dad, he was always kind of musically inclined, but the shit he listened to when I was younger, I grew to like. Now I grew to disdain because of just obvious, just like morality reasons. Like for example, Aerosmith,
Uh-huh.
super cool melodically wise. Steven Tyler's voice is great. Joe Perry's guitaring is great. But then I learned about how they actually were and how they were abusive and really mean towards women, fucking assholes that would just trash health. And just I didn't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that. And so like I grew to and I just grew to listen to the lyrics and I was like, this is so fucking sexist and so fucking stupid. What's the point of this? And it's just like it's whatever, it's just fodder for the fucking 80s, whatever. And then like, that wasn't the shit that I grew to like, so I had to like kind of replace that. Because around that time I was like 16, I was like, I was like that young and I realized this is fucking weird. It's so like fucking like
Just the
almost like
lyrics
fucking
are creepy. Like, why do you think like that?
it's creepy. It was creepy. So I had to find other guitar music to fucking resupply that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to indie music, which is great.
But
Fucking
nobody in your family was a musician, or
yeah, oh yeah. My dad was. My dad played the clarinet and like the flute and like the sax, and my mom never was a musician, but she had a beautiful voice and she was able to control it very well. She was a very good singer, but she never became a singer. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I got my voice from my mom. She knows how to sing better than I do, which is
Mm-hmm.
funny. And yeah, I've had to like kind of compensate and simplify things. And honestly, with beats, I remember hearing like about beats that like if to always simplify your beats because you want to leave room for a rapper, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
way I saw it.
Yeah.
With my own beats that I made for myself, I didn't give a fuck. I just did what the fuck I wanted to do over what I wanted to do. But I would find myself having to simplify the beats a lot because there were things that would conflict with my vocals. So um, for any producer, simplify your beats. It's not all about. I mean, unless you're just making instrumental tracks, it's not all about like the gizmos and gadgets and fucking bells and whistles.
I hear Kenny Beats say that a lot. Like your beats basically need to be ergonomic to the person that you're trying to make that beat for and enhance. But you being able to sing over a lot of your own productions, then you probably don't need to simplify for yourself as much.
I mean, I've had to for sure. But like, there will be like, because I guess like the thing about me being a producer is that like I want to be like, there's the producer side and there's the artist side. The producer side wants to get away with like people using like the coolest beats
Yeah.
that are kind of like semi-complex, just semi-cooler melodies, I
They got
guess.
those bells and whistles that you notice.
Yeah,
That
to an
yeah,
extent, to an extent.
yeah,
But the artist side also wants that to like be prevail because I want to like flex my talents as a producer.
sure.
But I also like sometimes it's just too much, and you have to like kind of find a middle ground where it all works out pretty well. Which is kind of a bummer, but I mean, it makes for like fucking that one song Peroxide.
Yep.
That fucking it used to be like the original beat was a little bit more complicated than that, and like shit was clashing. So a lot of the stuff in the mixes really turned the fuck down
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to compromise with myself, and like I was like I don't want to take these things out, but I'm just gonna put them all the way in the background
Mm-hmm.
and like lower them so that way people can kind of like get away with it, or I can get away with it.
Do you mix
You
your
know?
own records as well?
Huh?
Do you mix your records as well?
Yeah, I mix master. I don't fucking think I master them. I just mix them. It's all me. I don't fucking pay anyone to do anything. The only thing that I will get outside help from is from my friends, which recently it's been honestly like I'm a part of this new producer collective in the underground, which I believe is super awesome. They're better at making harder shit for like rappers like Summers and Autumn and fucking SSG Kobe and Sofago and stuff like that. And Lil
Have
Tecca,
y'all
Lil
donned a
Tecca's
name
one.
yet?
Huh?
Have y'all donned a name yet?
Yeah, that collective's called Paradigm, OAO. The
Okay.
OAO stands for one and only, and they're, in my opinion, some of the brightest, just most talented, like, especially because like they've inspired me to do certain things, which is fucking weird. Like producers that I've met,
Mm-hmm.
and there are maybe two in specific from that collective that like I like a lot as people, and I bring them to kind of work with me on my own shit. Because lately, I mean, no, there was three actually.
Are your collaborations mostly through like the internet, or are they like?
They're mostly through the internet for sure.
I guess
I
that's just
think
kind of how.
like I think that's fair to the times. It'd be
Exactly. Yeah.
cool to collaborate in person, but like I think it's mostly fair to the times to collaborate through internet. And
Yes.
lately, what they've been is that like it's been me taking melodies because before I would take melodies and give to people and then let them do the drums. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's kind of the other way around because now I've developed a better way of writing songs where instead of just making a beat and getting on the beat, I write an entire song.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes without even having a beat, just the song is just in my head. I go to the fucking microphone, put the metronome on, record it, and then make the beat around that. And it makes for a much more organic process, and I'm hoping people really enjoy it because I really enjoy these songs.
You're
Uh,
saying like with your upcoming music, that's like something you've been transitioning more into,
yes,
and you didn't really do that with like say Opium or Jesse.
never.
Interesting.
Jesse, I don't even like that much. That was just like something I just felt like, because the time we live in, man. Like, and I look at
That
like
got a
rappers.
#1 placement on one of our all albums of the year list. One of our members said that was their album of the year was Jesse.
Well, thank you to them. That's really sweet.
Yeah, he might have been
Um,
down bad, man.
I kind of take it as a like the way that like I see rappers work, and like if they're underground, especially like Autumn and Summers and Isaiah TG, one of my favorite rappers right now. Them being very good examples of the work ethic that you do because back in the day, like 2018, 2019, Summers dropped like fucking 3 tapes a year. Same with Autumn,
Mm-hmm.
something crazy. And I'm just like, you know what? And like now they're fucking on, which is great. They're
Mm-hmm.
that's super great for them. Summers is signed and Autumn is doing super cool stuff, and he's like working with like Snot and Lil Tecca now. It's fucking amazing.
Love them.
You know? And I love to see it. I'm just like, you know what? That's the type of fucking thing I need to be on because I've never fucking. Last year I tried it a little bit,
Okay.
but I only made 2 records. Maybe I'm trying to gun for 3 this year. Who knows? Maybe it would be cool. but I already got one done that I'm finishing. I'm planning to release, and like I already have like some songs written for the new one.
Mm.
And the thing is, I have like fucking a tape of leftovers from Opium and the new album that I need to drop, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to do all this because those songs are done. I just need to drop them
Yeah,
eventually.
so you got one whole project of songs done, and then you have essentially another compilation of
And I
looser
also have
songs.
Late 3 as well, but we're not gonna.
We won't that won't see the light of day.
No, I probably will. It just doesn't fucking matter that much,
Oh,
you know,
okay. Yeah.
because it's just like compilation. But like the other ones, like because that Late 3 is like songs that are already on SoundCloud ported over. That's what it's gonna be, and like
Got it.
the leftover, the B-side tape, that one's called All We Are / All We Need because that's just a cool little title, I think.
Yeah, it is.
And
I like
it's
it.
gonna be it's leftovers from Opium and leftovers from the new album, which I'll get into that later. But yeah, I have a lot of things in planned. You know, I'm
Yeah,
excited for the future.
you gotta have a I don't know, you gotta have a plan for those releases if you have multiple projects on your hands, and I'm glad that you want to use that extra material as well from your other sessions to like release in the future. I think that's I think that's useful. I think in it's not easy to put out 3 projects in a year, but that's one way to kind of just keep stoking the flames and keep releasing and keep consistent. And no, I like that. You said earliest kind of in the interview that now you're at a point where you feel like you're making some money that you can mostly just immerse yourself in your own musical journey. Are you making money mostly from the fact that people are listening to your music? Are you finding like some other avenues that have spawned just because your name has grown and become more popular? Like, how is that working for you?
Well, I mean, yeah, the money kind of just stems from music. It's just I get money from streams, which is great. You know, I don't really like I have my own apartment now and stuff. I mean, I
Mm.
have had apartments before, but I had to work jobs and how it is.
Yeah.
Like I can pay rent and pay the bills without having to really like just based off the streaming money alone. But I kind of want to be an adult about things and like have a little bit of money left over to save and put to the side and like in other business expenditures like maybe real estate one day.
Yeah.
You know. Stock market maybe. I don't know, but I want to be more responsible with my
Mhm.
because I'm kind of catching up on like years of me being irresponsible when I was like 16, 17 and just being a fucking shithead overall. I really regret
Well,
that.
I think that's really awesome because I guess what I was maybe asking was, or trying to find out was, like, so we mentioned Big Baby Scumbag earlier,
Mhm.
and that dude finds a million different ways to one brand himself, but then also like make a buck at the end of the day, and that comes in the form of his merch, and like he was
Yeah,
even doing a private label beer and all this shit. Like he'll come up with it, whatever. But that's
and
cool. That's cool to know that you're able to sort of take care of yourself based on the streams alone. Because I was kind of wondering if a lot of artists are really able to do that in certain
like
spaces anymore with how
seeing the
little
way
people get
yeah,
paid with
because
the
like
streams.
I'm very fortunate to have the fan base that I do. I don't even like calling them fans. It's just fucking condescending to me to call them fans. Sorry.
Makami calls his fans investors.
Who?
Makami, he's an underground rapper,
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of him. That's
but
kind of
he talks about calling his fans investors. So that's one way to look at
I
it.
just call them supporters because that also to me sounds political, but fans sounds like fucking
Like they worship you.
yeah, fucking that sucks, man. I supporters,
They
I
like your
support.
music.
They like my music.
Yeah,
People
they
that like
fuck
my
with your
music, or like
beats.
I like half of the money usually comes from just a stream, just sitting on my ass making music, uh, whatever, and then I can pay rent, bills, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm chilling off that. But the extra money which I make comes from me selling beats and features and
Got it.
stuff
Got
to
it.
make like music. Like for example, mixing preset that I sell, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really charge an arm and a leg for this shit because like fuck it, man. What I wanted to do when I really wanted to make music and what I still see it as is that I wanted to really influence people.
Mm.
I never really wanted to become the star. I wanted to be the person so that someone may become the star. and I don't really feel right, like, trying to keep all of it to myself. I'm not charitable with any of it. Like, if you ask me, like, oh, how do you sound like that, I'm like, I'm not telling you. Like, that's not fair to myself, because when I started, no one helped me, which I,
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, I should probably break the mold, but also I got things I want to do. Money is important. I want to be able to build a future and maybe one day have a family and provide for them with things
Hmm.
that I did when I was younger, like right now. And I think that's fair. And so, yeah, beats, features, stuff to make beats with. That's the other half of how I make it. I'm very supportive for everyone that has ever bought something in the past. And love you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. So there is a little bit of, I mean, besides you making your own music and that takes its own labor, but aside from that, there is a little bit of labor that you do kind of on the side to just kind of keep the income coming
Yeah,
in
it kind of
on
sucks
demand.
because I have to, like, kind of promote it, which is, some people will say that that shows artistic integrity. I will agree to an extent, but also it's just like, we have this one life, and I don't want to work, so why not just take advantage of the thing that I'm, very blessed to have, and
Yeah,
like just use it to its full potential. Like,
absolutely.
fuck it.
And it's
Like,
my belief that you grow and you get a lot better when, your survival is based off of your your product,
yeah,
your form of therapy, your kind of everything being the music. You
pretty.
kind of can only grow through that decision, I feel.
It's also pressure inducing to an extent
The
as well.
pressure, yeah, yeah. The fact that it's got to happen, either it does or it doesn't. That makes or breaks a lot of people. So, um, this is one question I really came in here wanting to ask you. I'm interested in just how you feel about this. How much would you say you rely on your music for therapy?
I mean, I go to actual therapy, so
So
so like,
you have other outlets then. You're
yeah, I
familiar with
have.
your other
I mean,
outlets,
but
but
music is very big on that sense. But that's just more like natural things. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't really get from what I get going to therapy from music.
mhm.
I get it more from like journaling, let's say.
Okay.
And journaling, while it is helpful, is not the indefinite solution for that. I believe that everyone, no exception, should go to therapy at some point in their life. The world would be
Fact.
a lot better place, especially if fucking parents went to therapy.
The yes, yes, older people,
Older
yes,
people,
because
and
the
they won't
stigma
admit it.
can't, because the stigma comes from them.
Yeah, and they won't admit they have problems because no one wants to admit that they have problems. But I think there's strength in admitting that you have flaws and you have problems, and saying that you're sorry and trying to be a better human being. I think there's a lot of beauty in that, and I think that's what we should strive for, because we can't be perfect at the end of the day, but we can't hide behind our mistakes as well. But at the same time, like, people will try so hard to search for perfection, and at the same time, it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. We're not gonna be perfect. Why not just enjoy yourself while you can?
Mm,
Don't be a shithead. I'm not advocating being a shithead at all. Be a pretty decent person, but it's okay to make mistakes. But
absolutely.
don't be an asshole.
Hmm.
Don't.
Then does your actual therapy, does that kind of leave you with a clearer mind? Do you feel like you're in a better place making music because you take advantage of a resource like that helps you?
Yeah, to an extent, I think so. Because I mean, it just helps me become a better person, I believe, and it
Hmm.
also just like helps release a lot of tension. Lately, I've been doing this thing where because sometimes I don't get bored. I don't play video games. I don't really watch TV. I don't have the attention span for that. But for music, for some fucking odd reason, I have the attention span for that, and I can sit down, finish a song, maybe check Instagram, go on Twitter, fucking
Hmm.
play a little skateboarding game on my phone while I'm doing it. And I've lately been doing this thing where if someone will send me beats, instead of making a song for me to put out, because lately I haven't been really relying on anyone for
Hmm.
like my own stuff, because like I want my material to come from mostly me. So
Sure.
like the next album, by the way, is just gonna be produced by like 80% more than that. Yeah, let's say 80%, 85% of the songs are produced solely by me.
Okay.
And
I
there's
kind of
two.
thought in the past that, and you said that you've had some collaborators. So I'm learning this, but I kind of thought in the past that your previous projects were like mostly
Yeah, no,
self-produced.
they were. They all are.
Okay.
Jesse was the big exemption from that. That was produced by this Landis and this dude Cass.
Mm.
Um, which this Landis wonderful producer Cass, pretty cool too. But uh, everything else besides it, like late, mostly produced by me. I
Yeah.
mean, every song on that tape, except for maybe two, have have like my name on them. Like it either solely produced by me or it's me in a collaboration with someone else. And there's two songs, one being Moon and one being Symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two songs that I did not produce, which cool songs. I
Okay.
guess I don't really like them anymore. I don't really like anything off that project anymore, aside from maybe I like Soul, but that's from an outside reason. Like as a song, I don't like it, but as what it means to people, I like it because someone got the lyrics from Soul tattooed on their chest, and I thought that was
Oh shit.
incredible. I thought that was insane, and like made me smile and jump up. And they were like, "I
That's
know you don't like the song." I'm like, "Fuck it, now I like the song."
oh yeah, yeah. It gives a whole new meaning.
Like, what am I gonna do, man? Like that's so like sweet and so amazing to see that like I affected someone's life like that, and I see that a lot, and it's great. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that's a very surreal thing. So but this next project is you're basically taking it up another level in terms of like really making it your own 360, your hands all over it.
Yes, my hand. It's kind of a honestly, I'm kind of nervous about it. I should probably tell you what it's titled, right?
You
So
can. I wasn't gonna yank that out of you, but you can.
I might as well. The album is titled "In Memory,"
In
and
memory, okay.
the title came from when I was first starting to make music, and I remember living across the street from this graveyard, and it had a really beautiful monument in it, and it wasn't like a like a statue or some shit.
Mm.
And I was like, you know, what'd be cool is if I named an album in memory because from where I lived across the street from a fucking graveyard. I
Yeah.
was like in memory, and then like I fucking took a picture of that statue, not really trying to capture the graveyard, but just trying to capture the essence of it because it was really beautiful. A place that was full of death had still life to give, and I thought that was really cool. The graveyard's also very beautiful, very tranquil place, and it's super pretty. The trees are very nice, and the atmosphere is really calming and peaceful, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I made that title and I came up with the idea for the cover when I was 17. I'm 24 now.
Yeah. So it's been a minute.
Right, right. And the album is actually somewhat of a 180. Uh, actually, maybe somewhat of a 360 in comparison to like the older shit. Like if you liked Late, you might like In Memory, but it's completely different. The song, like a song like Peroxide, a song like Soul, a song like fucking Moon, those songs are nowhere to be found on this. This is truly like me giving into like my roots and giving into new experimentation. And I'm taking more inspirational cues from bands like fucking Nirvana
Mm.
and The Cure, The Pixies, My Bloody Valentine,
Mm-hmm.
Cocktail Twins, More Clarence Casino, Metro Boomin,
Mm-hmm.
808 Mafia shit, my contemporaries and Paradigm, OAO, like 99, fucking all that, and even like the Beach Boys. I've been this album is filled. Most of the songs have guitar on them, and most of them are based around guitar, and most of them aren't like me just getting on a beat. Like I was saying, these songs are truly songs
Mm-hmm.
with purpose and movement and actual like changings of the beats and just a lot of it. You'll find a lot of the stuff from my older work still in there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's new, it's fresh. This is a brand new way and a brand new direction that I'm taking, and it feels a lot better. And makes me, and because how many fucking I don't know how many fucking times like I can do like something like Maybe or something like the stuff off of Late, like that. You
Yeah.
gotta advance. And
Yeah.
if I'm really hoping that like people like this because like these are some of the best songs hands down that I've written ever because they're actual songs and they're just great, and I love them, and the people I've shown have love them too, and it's just I don't know, man. Let's just hope it does well.
I definitely see the progression that you're talking about because in Late and Two, I sense a lot of like capturing a feeling and then extending that feeling throughout the song. Whereas it sounds like with this new shit that you're working on, as well as to be honest with you, with Jesse and Opium in some aspects, like there's a little bit more emphasis on the dynamic aspect of it where things are going to move a little bit more, shift a little bit more. And it sounds like with this, you really want to take songs to different places in the same 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or however.
Oh no, they're all pretty short. That's the beauty of it. These songs have dynamic, but they're short.
Mm-hmm.
They're no song. The longest song on there isn't even 3 minutes. It's like 2 minutes 55 seconds.
Oh, so it's all like sub 3 minutes.
All pretty short. The shortest song on there is 2 minutes 1 second. So we're kind of reaching like
Mm-hmm.
a middle ground of like good distance. Because I do feel that some songs drag on too long. Like for example, The Life of Pierre 4. Great tape.
I
Way
fuck with
too
that
fucking long. Way too fucking long. It does not need to be that long. Like Guillotine can be 2 minutes, and that's perfect. Like it did not need to be like, and because the beat doesn't fucking change, and it's amazing. It's hypnotic, and yeah, it's great, whatever. But the beat doesn't change, and there's not anything said interesting enough to keep my attention. But the beats are beautiful. Pierre makes really good fucking hooks, and I like that album. I'd give it like maybe like a 7 out of 10 because it's too long at the same time, and I just can't like,
Mhm.
like ideas are there and ideas should just stay there. If there's no reason to extend something past like what its expiry date is.
Yeah, it's getting harder to do that now, and I've noticed a lot of my favorite albums from, let's say, 2020, because we just did a bunch of lists and whatnot. Some of my favorite albums, I very much recall giving the this praise to them, that wow, this album is only 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and I feel like they packed a whole bunch of shit into that. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, but it does seem that today's music, I'm not saying that you can't make a long album, but like it's definitely a more ideal to be making shorter albums that are filled with a lot going on in
Yeah,
them in that short amount of time.
for example, I guess this would kind of summarize like what you're kind of into here with this album. So there's this song on in memory, it's closer towards the end of it, and it's called Osaka, and it's a reggaeton song.
Mm-hmm.
Has that beat, but then it changes into something with really crazy 808s, really sluggish, almost like with just really crazy 808s going high and low and just going insane, and like it becomes really distorted back to the reggaeton part, and then it kind of progresses into something that ends up ending as like a Sufjan Stevens folk thing, just acoustic guitars, and that's it.
Wow.
So it's like a bunch of like, it's fucking goes from reggaeton to fucking basically like I guess hyper pop to an extent, but it's a little bit different. I mean, because one of the producers that worked on that song with me, his name is Nomu, and he's a part of this collective called Helix Tears, and they're great. Um, People in there probably don't like me, but sorry, you guys are great. You're great. But like, and I wanted to kind of capture some of his essence because he did the melody and I did everything around because I really like what he's doing, and so I kind of, in a sense, paid my respect and took a little bit of inspiration from what he does. And then it's just a bunch of blending of shit, like yeah, fucking a lot of like inspiration to like in one song, in some songs there's like inspiration to fucking shoegaze, a little bit of pop punk, some grunge, and fucking the regular shit with the 808s that I would always do like on like late and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and just balladry and honestly some Sonic Youth freakouts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some like just really weird gnarly guitar sounds, some big like an arena, but they're just like wailing. Like it's just cool. Like you'll see, man.
It
It's by
sounds like
far
you're
the most.
maximizing your own eclectic taste and
Yeah.
desire to make music.
This for sure is like my favorite because it feels the most like me. Like it doesn't feel like mixed matches. It feels like Ed Barros. It feels like me. It feels
Mm-hmm.
like because you'll talk to me and we can talk forever about music, and I'll just talk about like the intricacies of like something like I don't know. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I don't even like that fucking album that much. I like the White Album more, but like I can just talk to you about stuff like that and just stuff that I think is just cool and things like that that will move on and want to do to certain things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck John Lennon. But
Fuck John Lennon, man. Yeah, he can get the fuck out of here, man. Well,
yeah.
I think that's all I got for you, bro. I mean, you've hyped up this album that's coming up, so I feel like that's a good place to kind of end the story with, is we're looking forward to In Memory,
Yeah.
and really more expansive skill set from you
Mm-hmm.
on this album, and I'm looking forward to seeing you unleashed, bro.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I just hope that people will like it. I'm really hoping people like it because I'm taking a fucking risk here.
How do you
And
gauge that too, real quick before we get out of here? How do you gauge that from people who like your music? You know, how do you sort of receive feedback from them, or how do you take that feedback, or how do you try to go
I'll,
about that?
I'll look at like reviews and stuff, and just look at, I'll Google mixed masters reviews, and I'll go to sites like Rate Your Music, which have been helpful. And they'll give me harsh criticism that I need sometimes. Like they'll be like, this shit sounds a lot like the same, like sounds a lot like itself. It doesn't change up too much. And I'm like, you know what? At first I was like, yes, it does, blah blah blah. But then I was like, you know what? That's and then I kind of looked over and like, you know what? That's fair. In that case, I'm not gonna take it softly. I'm gonna say fuck it, and I'm just gonna go extreme and turn up and make this shit like
Sure.
this is different. Like this is fucking different. There's no comparison
You
to
couldn't
your
say that
shit.
about this, right?
Yes, about In Memory. Like there's no comparison. This is stuff that's different. It's constantly changing, constantly breathing, and it has life.
So,
And a lot of the stuff like before it had life, but like also in a change of direction tone sonically. In Memory is like a mixed bag, but most of it is they're happy songs. They're happier things. But most of it is also they're happy songs, but the topics of them are pretty sad because I was recently going through a big breakup and just things that I've experienced through music and just stuff like that. But like, just try to maintain somewhat positive outlook, but also like within a realm of sadness.
yeah. So like, I'm glad we got to bring up how, you have other outlets outside of out of just the music. Do you feel like the music then provides you with more of a sense of closure as opposed to the catharsis? Because when you say these songs are happier songs, but they kind of cover sadder memories or sadder events, that sounds like something to me that's like, okay, I feel removed from that situation, and now I can like take some gratitude from whatever that experience was.
Honestly, maybe. I mean, with a lot of these songs off of In Memory, I just like, just in the car, and I'll do this a lot. I'll just like randomly start like humming some random shit. I'll be like, that sounds cool, and I'll make a song out of it. And a lot of them just happen to be happy songs. And the few songs that I had made the beats for and then got on, those are the sadder ones.
Okay.
And one of the songs off In Memory actually pays homage to Nirvana, and it's somewhat of an interpolation off of Serve the Servants, but it doesn't sound like Serve the Servants. And just stuff like that, like to kind of show where like my headspace, because all those songs off of In Utero by Nirvana, they're fucking sad. They're overall tinged with a lot of darkness because the suicide from Kurt Cobain, which came shortly after that. But a lot of the stuff on In Memory, it's inspired heavily by stuff like that, but it doesn't. I don't want it to like it starts off in a happy note but ends on a sad note because I feel like it's very realistic that way.
Yeah.
Because life is literally just ups and downs. You bottom out, but then you get back on the hill. You top, and then
and even that's not the end of it. Yeah, you still kind of
the end of it. There's
tend
always
to
some
bottom
other
out.
thing that has to happen. Like, and I think I didn't want it to be all like one happy record or all one like that's what I didn't like about Opium either. There was like two happy songs on there, and it's just like, and Jesse was like, it was just all pretty much fucking sad, like, and Late had a difference, which I think people like that about Late because it had songs like If I Ever Feel. Yes, that's a fucking Phoenix cover.
Yeah, that's
when people
a
ask me
banger.
that, I'm just like, yeah, dude, it's extremely obvious.
Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah.
Like if you
even if you don't really know the song, like you can hear that it's an interpolation of a song that you've heard before.
It's direct cover, like lyrics, not like, and like not interpret, just direct. Like if someone is just like, is this covering Phoenix? Like you don't need to ask the answer. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But shout out you people that ask. I appreciate you guys getting invested in.
Yeah, still appreciate the ask. Still appreciate the interaction.
I appreciate everyone. Except for the mean people. I don't really appreciate you that much, but I hope you're doing well still.
Yeah.
It's fair.
We are like-minded in that regard. Absolutely. Cool, man. I really feel like I've gotten to know a lot more about you and your music through just this interview alone. So I'm excited to go back and hear a little bit more of your previous projects. And I mean, I've heard all of them, but just to kind of like pay attention to their progressions that much more under this light. And I recommend anybody watching this interview, you do the same fucking thing, man. Go back and, I mean, even if he doesn't love these projects, listen to Late, listen to Two, listen to Opium's the one he seems to like the most. Listen to Jesse though, but I'm looking forward to this newer project, and your development as an artist is pretty interesting, man.
Thanks, man. New single should be dropping. I mean, it's gonna drop before this, but on the 30th of June, one of these songs that pretty much shows like just yeah, basically it shows like it's the main idea of the new album. It's called Duck Duck Goose. That comes out on the 30th, and it's thematically the song is it's about missing being a kid, which is kind of fitting for the title. And the
Yeah.
beat is really happy and childish in that sense, and it all works out really well. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to plug myself in memory. Coming soon, probably March. I don't know.
All right.
And thank you so much for the interview, man. It was
Of
fun.
course, man. It is an excellent interview. This has been Mixed Matches. We have been Obligatory. I am Dev. I never even really introduced myself at the beginning. I'm Dev Delmolino.
Hi, Dan.
Um,
Ed.
and yeah, we got new music from Mixed Matches coming out pretty soon. We all look forward to it.